That's me. I'm just a regular gym bro that's also a little strong, but I never put my strength to the test until now. I've decided to compete in strongman. You'll see what happens when a regular gym bro gives all these new exercises a try. There was some crazy shit that happened at this meet. I've only had 8 weeks to train for it, and I've had to lose a lot of weight to make 90 kilos, so I'm pretty nervous. I think I'm decently strong, but there's gonna be some crazy guys at this event, and I did end up embarrassing myself a little bit. You'll see what happened. This is where I was at 24 hours before weigh-ins. I had to be 90 kilos or 198 pounds. So this entire day before weigh-ins, I was fasting basically, no water, no food. I had to do 4 or 5 rounds in the steam room, but eventually I finally got to my goal weight, and then it was time to rehydrate. Strongman competitions are made up of 5 events. It changes depending on what the promoter wants, so it could be anything. Out of all 5 events, I felt pretty good about 2 of them. I felt decent about another 2, and there was one event that I didn't really think I would do that well in. Let's get into it, starting with the first event. The first event was car squat. As the name sounds, you are squatting an entire car, but it's on a lever, so it's not like you're squatting the whole thing. They add up to 4 plates, and then you just keep repping it out. Most reps wins. I don't have a car squat in my regular commercial gym, so instead I just trained by doing pin squats. I worked up to 395 for sets of 5. My squat is not very strong, but I thought I would do okay in this event. What I didn't know is that the car would actually be very light. One thing I realized early on is that you need to put your legs way out in front of you because you're not squatting straight up. You're squatting like down and back behind you. So you go down, wait for the ref to stay up, and then you come up. I didn't realize I was bouncing this much, but the car itself was pretty light. And even when they added all these plates, it still felt pretty light. I think this is my 5th rep. I didn't realize it would be this light because I was training with reps of like 4 to 6. And we ended up doing a lot more than that. I got up to 12 reps. My biggest limiting factor was my cardio. Like, my conditioning is really, really trash. But, you know, trying your best, pushing through, taking lots of big breaks in between reps.
Come on, let's go. You got this. Breathe in, come on. Yes. Down, come on. Set yourself, come on. Come on.
I definitely could have improved my conditioning and probably just trained my legs more, gotten stronger legs. I notoriously don't like squatting. I'm more of a deadlift guy, but it is what it is. At this point, I was 9th place, middle of the pack, kind of where I expected for this event, but now we move on to something I'm really good at. Frame carry. You basically have to pick up this huge frame. It's 450 pounds on the way there, and then 540 pounds on the way back. Whoever gets there and back the fastest wins. With a trap bar at the gym, I've worked up to like 605, 615, and I've done the weights that are meant for the meet, and I've done them really fast. So I was really confident. I have really strong legs and back. I knew I could win this event. I picked up the frame a few times to warm up with it. It felt pretty light, pretty easy to hold, but it was a little bit wobbly, and I didn't think it would be a problem, but it was a problem. There was a guy who was using the frame and it hit the back of his calf and it put a really big cut in his calf. He had to go to the hospital. So I knew I could do good. I just had to be careful. I was super excited, kind of nervous for this event. I knew I could win. I wanted to go as fast as I could, and that was a mistake. Super wobbly, fell. So embarrassing, bro. And then on the way back, it was even worse. I dropped it. It was so light. I dropped it once, I dropped it again, and then I tried to drag it over the line, but that's not allowed. So I thought I was done. The ref's like, no, you need to come back. I'm like, fuck. So I'm just wasting time. I have to come back, turn around, pick it up, and go again. And oh my God, I was so depressed. Like, this was terrible, terrible. This was supposed to be my strongest event, and I did really bad. I was just too excited. I knew I could win this event, and I really just put full tilt, even though I wasn't used to using such a narrow frame. Surprisingly, after this terrible performance, I was still tied for 9th place, but the thing is, my mindset was shot. I was just like so like down in the dumps, depressed, and it doesn't help that this next event is one that scares me a little bit. The log. This is the bane of my existence. This lift terrifies me. A few weeks ago, while training for this meet, I literally just passed out in front of the log. Luckily, I didn't go backwards or something because I could have really hurt myself. And a few weeks before the meet, I was training log again, and I stumbled and I almost fell with the log again. So I'm scared. The weight on the bar is 203 pounds. You have 60 seconds to clean and press the bar as many times as you can. My best in training was 3 reps. My idea going into this was that I would get 4, maybe 5. Let's see what happens. Like I said, I was a little bit down in the dumps, and I don't know what happened. Clean was easy, and I couldn't press it. It's like, just lost balance, something happened. So I'm like, man, I want to get 4 or 5. So I went for another one basically right away. And more of the same shit. Clean, couldn't press it. Oh man. My best in training was 3 reps. I don't know what was going on. The clean was super easy, but for some reason, the log was a little bit slippery. The one I use in training is a little bit more it's a little bit more stiff. I don't know how to say, but it stuck to me a little bit better. Man, time is running out. Feeling really frustrated. I ended up not even getting a single rep, which is not good at all, bro. 0 points. 0 points. Luckily for me, there was other guys who couldn't even get 1 rep. But man, if I just matched my performance in training, I would have done really well. Thank God I was recording this. There was this one guy who went after me. His first rep was a little shaky, but his second rep, he nearly killed himself, okay? Watch this. It's insane. Similar to what happened to me, he slipped, boom. Holy crap. Slow motion. If this was a little bit closer to his head, he would have pancaked his own head, dude. This was it. Look at the people's reactions. Look at this. Oh my God. But you know what's crazy? His 60 seconds weren't up, so he still had time to go. He picked up the log, he put it back, and he got 2 more reps. Oh, it's insane. Look at my face. I'm flabbergasted. This guy's a savage. Takeaways for this lift. I was just not strong enough. Maybe I was a little bit detrained or not used to the equipment, but basically at this point, I was really, really down in the dumps. This meet is going shit. I dropped in placings even more. Now I'm 14th place out of 18 people. Like, okay. Still 2 more events to go. The Husafell stone is a cool event. Basically, you have to pick up 285 pounds and just walk back and forth. Whoever gets the most distance wins. I don't have one of these implements to train in my gym. So basically, I put a bunch of plates, I stacked them together, and I picked it up and I kind of did the same thing. I just went back and forth. This is how I trained. Before the event started, I tried out the actual stone just so I could see what it felt like. And we also warmed up in a pretty weird way. This is another one of the events that I felt pretty good about. So when I picked it up, it didn't really feel that heavy. It felt confident actually. And I was wearing one of those grip shirts, which helps things stick to you more. Immediately what I noticed is the pain on my forearms because this thing is made of metal and it's like really, really, well, it's not sharp, but you can feel it digging into your forearms. So as I'm going back and forth, I realized like, man, I kind of need to move as fast as I can because it's a ticking time bomb. So I think I make it 6 times back and forth. See, I'm really starting to slow down. It's really digging into my forearms. I'm going to show you guys after. But I go as far as I can, and eventually I just have to drop it. Check out my forearms. They are really bruised. I don't know if it's coming off in the video, but I performed about as well as I thought I would, and I got 5th place, so this bumped me up a little bit in points, but still, it's not very good. Event number 5 was the front hold. Basically, they put out a laser, and you have to hold a 40-pound kettlebell in front of you. Whoever holds it the longest wins. You can't let your knuckles dip below the laser. Doing this exercise has felt really trash. Not only are my shoulders a little bit weak, but they're also very unstable. It feels like they're gonna pop. I knew I wasn't gonna get a good score. I will fast forward because this isn't really an entertaining event. I basically got 23 seconds, which is about what I expected. It wasn't a very good score, but nothing much I could do. Takeaways from this event. My shoulders are extremely weak, and my shoulders are extremely weak. I ended up finishing in 11th place out of 18 people. This was a really disappointing performance. I thought I would do much better. There was a lot of injuries at this meet, and I came away unscathed, so I'm pretty happy about that. There was another guy who was doing the log, and he tore one of his triceps. So Some guy almost cracked his skull. Some guy gashed his foot. And another guy tore his tricep. So I didn't get injured. I'm happy. I also had a lot of fun and I met new people. It was a good experience. But the one con is that I really underperformed, especially in the frame and the log. I've already signed up for another meet. It's in 1 month, and I'm hoping that I can qualify for provincials, especially if I get my act together. I'm not gonna make a video about this next meet, but if you want updates, follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm gonna post about it. A little bit of a different style video today. If you wanna watch something else, click over here.